All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Pleasantville High School. This is high school basketball BFA Productions on 97.3 ESPN.com. I'm Mike Gill. That is Mike Frankel. I'll point so that you can tell who I'm talking about. We are happy to bring you this here on a Saturday afternoon this is a game, Mike, that typically we would see on Super Bowl Sunday at the Battle by the Bay. Unfortunately, that Battle by the Bay has been canceled. You see we're wearing masks here at the Pleasantville gym, but they're going to play this game, and they're going to play it on a random Saturday the weekend before the Super Bowl. Pretty much an empty gym here, so we're happy to bring it to you. Thanks to our friends at Premier Orthopedic Associates, we were able to bring you the live video stream of this game. And while there's nobody in this gym, it's Pleasantville and it's Atlantic City, so it should be a good one.
Absolutely, Mike. As you said, this is one of the highlights traditionally of the South Jersey high school basketball season, certainly in the Cape Atlantic League. You mentioned it. It's always a sold-out crowd over at AC High. Super Bowl Sunday, kind of the game before the big game sort of deal. Everything's different this year. The game originally was not on the schedule. These teams got together and said, hey, we need to play. They decided to play at Pleasantville, which is obviously nice for the Greyhounds. You know, you never get to host this game if you're Pleasantville in a traditional year, but it should be a good one. Both of these teams, a little bit different skill sets this year. Atlantic City has a lot of returning players from a team that won a South Jersey championship a year ago. Pleasantville, you don't want to say rebuilding mode. There's a lot of talent on the Greyhounds, but it'll be a tough task today to try to keep up with the Vikings.
Now let's talk a little bit about this Atlantic City team. They had a win over Wildwood Catholic the other night. This is a team that is, the defending Group 4 champions. They never finished that run. That's when the pandemic hit and the tournament kind of ended at that spot. So tell us a little bit about Atlantic City, 1-0. Gene Allen, of course, is back. And who's returning and what they looked like the other night when they played Wildwood Catholic.
Well, anytime you go down to North Wildwood, pandemic year or not, crowd or not, it's tough to play on that court. And Atlantic City got the job done on opening night, as you said. The Vikings, they return a lot of guards with experience. You talk about guys like Chad Lewis, Jaheim Frederick, Jaden Jones, the Blakely brothers, one of those guys coming off an injury, but I think both healthy now. And then, I know Gene Allen's excited about a couple of his big guys. Amir Mack played well the other night. That's a kid that didn't see a ton of time last year, but sort of came into his own over the summer and a big part of the rotation this season. So, yeah, I had a chance to talk to Gene and some of these kids preseason, and we talked about the shutdown. And look, they were honest about it. They said it was tough. It was a hard thing to get over. This is a team that deserved to play, in a state semifinal game, deserved to have a chance at a state championship. They didn't get that. So these kids are not only playing for themselves, but they quite frankly told me they're playing for some of those seniors last year that had it taken away from them.
Yeah,
so
their big senior last year, Stephen Byard, of course, has graduated. We'll see what the Vikings bring. We'll talk about the Greyhounds here in a moment. Head coach is Butch Warner. They are 0-1. They lost to ACIT. It is a new-look Greyhounds team. We'll tell you more about those guys. Coming up, we'll have the Greyhounds and the Vikings right here on BFA Productions and 97.3 ESPN.com. Thanks to our friends at Premier Orthopedic Associates.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tom Dwyer, CEO of Premier Orthopedic Associates. As a parent of 2 former high school athletes, I can only imagine how difficult it is for so many of you who are unable to be at the game to watch your child or favorite student athlete compete due to COVID-19 restrictions this season. As such, our team here at Premier Orthopedic Associates has partnered with our friends at BFA Sports to give you, the fans, a virtual front row seat. And for the student athlete, a new experience, a pretty cool professional broadcast they'll be able to keep forever at no cost for all of you to enjoy. Well, I see it's just about time for tip-off. So from all of us here at Premier Orthopedic Associates, best of luck this season. Stay safe, be well, and while we hope we don't see any of you anytime soon, we're here for you if you should need us. Enjoy the game.
All right, back here in Pleasantville, Mike Gill and Mike Frankel as we're set to take you through all the action here on BFA Productions and 97.3 ESPN.com. Of course, Mike Frankel, you've been covering Cape Atlantic League basketball for over a decade now. How's that sound? Over a decade you've been doing this.
Makes me sound old, Mike Gill. You're right behind me, though. Don't call me old. You're right.
I'm not old.
There.
He's old. We're going to have fun today bringing you this one because this one's going to be a good one. Let's hear a little bit about Pleasantville. 0-1. A lot of new faces on this Greyhounds team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, there's going to be some youngsters in the lineup for head coach Butch Warner, but exciting players, talented players. I know Isaiah Davenport is one of those super sophomores that the people in and around Pleasantville are excited about, but still some KG veterans on this team this year, Mike. You know, we've done so many games where Noel Gonzalez has played a big role, and hard to believe he's still in high school, but he's his senior year this season. He's that veteran leader that Pleasantville, and again, certainly in a game like this, might have to look to when things get a little choppy or a little bit rough during the course of this one.
You talk about a guy who's been in high school for a while. One guy who we don't see is Alejandro Rosado. He was a guy who kind of has been a part of this program for a long, long time. The guys like that were kind of the glue of those Greyhound teams. We'll see what they bring to the table for this year's edition of Atlantic City and Pleasantville. It's about to start, and of course in the 2021 season, there is no jump ball. We start with an inbounds pass. Atlantic City has the ball moving right to left.
It's an adventure. It's you know, the kids are still getting used to it. The officials are still getting used to it. Obviously, the officials don't want to handle the basketball, and it's just muscle memory. You're used to throwing the ball to the officials. Yep. That can't happen this year.
Atlantic City dressed in navy has the ball moving right to left, and a foul early on down low as we'll get the 5 on the floor for you for Atlantic City. Amir Mack, a senior, will get to the line to start things off on this Saturday. I guess we are in almost the afternoon now, late morning. AC dressed in blue, Pleasantville in the home white, and Mack at the line. First free throw attempt off the back of the iron.
Yeah, young starting lineup for Pleasantville, Mike. Ivan Mitchell in there. You have Mikey Villegas in there. Gonzalez not in the starting lineup for head coach Butch Warner today.
Second attempt by Mack is good. And the Vikings come out with their traditional press, and they throw it away right off the bat. Villegas turns it over, and the Vikings get the ball back. 1-0, they lead, 7:48 to play here in the first quarter.
If nothing else, you know you're going to get that full court pressure, but now a turnover here by AC.
Quick steal by the Greyhounds. Fast break action, no good. Rebound up and put back is too strong. The rebound is fought for and won, and Atlantic City comes out of it with Frederick, but he is fouled. Actually, we're going to get a jump ball, and the arrow is going to face Pleasantville.
Quick jump ball decision there. It looked like Frederick was able to rip that basketball away, but the officials decided it was tied up, and possession to Pleasantville.
Well, Pleasantville will inbound the ball. Remember, the officials are not allowed to touch the ball, so it's going to be a lot of kids kind of walking around with the ball. It's kind of a bizarre situation. Davenport has the ball dribbling in the backcourt. Left-hand dribble, crosses over to the right, and it's a steal. Stolen away by the Vikings. Fast break back the other way. Blakely takes it up and goes coast to coast, and Blakely gets a bucket.
Yeah, the Blakely brothers, hard to tell them apart. That was Nassan Blakely, so good on the defensive end, really can get down and defend.
Back the other way, Pleasantville on the break, and we got a walk on the way to the basket as too many steps by Whitaker. And another turnover and a 20-second timeout taken already by Gene Allen. He doesn't like this up and down action. Well, he likes up and down action. He just doesn't like the way this is going for him so far.
It's hard to separate sometimes, playing fast in a game like this, Mike, from playing sloppy. So many times we've done the Battle by the Bay in front of the big crowd and the teams are hyped up and it's a rivalry game and, it's sort of a sloppy game, right? A lot of fouls, a lot of turnovers. This feels different. We're in an empty gym. It's early in the season. Obviously, the buzz of the crowd is not there. So, I think Gene just trying to calm his guys down a little bit right now. They have the early lead, but he doesn't want to let his team try to get sloppy early on here. I mean, they have the veterans on this team to dictate the pace, and he wants to keep things under control. He wants to run, as we talked about, but he wants to run, when it's smart, when it's appropriate to do so.
Yeah, Mike, they scored 50 the other night at Wildwood Catholic, so a low-scoring game for the Vikings. We know they like the pressure, they like the defense, and this is a young, inexperienced Pleasantville team that they can force into a lot of turnovers. 3-0 to score, Pleasantville and Atlantic City. Vikings with the ball, moving right to left. They lead. Blakely off on the wing, into the deep corner. 3-ball up and off the back iron. No good. Rebound comes down, and it's pulled down there by Hobbs. Hobbs gets the start today at the foul line, and a left-hand layup is blocked from the backside by Whitaker. It'll stay with the Vikings. 7:05 to play, first quarter, 3-0 Atlantic City. They'll inbound the ball underneath their own basket. Top of the key, Blakely, who got some playing time last year. Blakely throws a pass into the deep corner. Now to Hobbs in the post. Post double team, and near steal, throws it into the corner. Atlantic City regroups. 7:45 to play. Atlantic City resets the offense. Here's Blakely. Blakely backs up. Off to the right side, into the deep corner. Goes baseline, kicks it out for a three. Blakely between the hands. He's got to run it back down. Now he crosses it to Whitaker into the corner. And a three ball is up and in and out, no good. The rebound for Hobbs. Hobbs puts it on the floor one time. He's double teamed on the block and a jump ball. And this time the arrow will go with Atlantic City.
Looked like some zone defense action there from Pleasantville, and obviously going to open up some jump shots, some three-point opportunities for Atlantic City. But again, you don't want to rush those shots. You want to look for the best one.
Inbounds pass, gets it right into the middle of the paint, and there is a triple team in there. We're going to get another jump ball, and this time the arrow will face Pleasantville. So this is the third jump ball we've had in the first 2 minutes of this game.
That was a tough catch for Mack, but, as big men are told from the time they're big as little kids, you don't want to bring that basketball down. And I think he was unable to grab it up high and ended up falling down a little bit, and then the Pleasantville guards able to get their hands on it.
Pressure from the Vikings. They get a near steal, and the ball goes off. They try to get it to Walker. It goes off of Blakely. But Atlantic City definitely putting the pressure up early in this game. Heard Gene Allen. It's a little cold in here.
It is.
He was not happy with it.
We thought about leaving the jackets on, but.
Baseball pass all the way down towards the foul line, and the layup goes up, and it's a foul as Dontra Whitaker, it was like a quarterback finding the tight end right down the seam, caught it, and then tried to get to the basket and was fouled from the backside. So Pleasantville still scoreless, 5:32 to play at the line, trying to get their first points of this morning.
Good aggression there by Whitaker, too. You had Hobbs on him, and Whitaker had a sense that Hobbs really couldn't quite get his feet set, so he initiated the contact, but it was a clear call. It was a defensive foul.
Whitaker, good from the line on his first attempt. Got the first change of the afternoon. Hobbs will come out of the game. And entering for Atlantic City, Chad Lewis, number 10. Second free throw good by Dontra Whitaker. 3-2, AC leads with the ball, moving right to left. 5:24 to play, first quarter. Blakely between the circles at the top of the key. Kind of like some sort of 1-2-2 zone look. Blakely deep in the corner, down on the block, leaves it off, and a nice layup there. Give the assist, give the bucket, and Frederick is on the board.
Yeah, nice look there by Jaden Jones. He would have had an opportunity to shoot, Mike, but it would have been a tougher opportunity, so he lays it off to his teammate, and Chad Lewis able to get two.
Atlantic City gets the steal, back the other way, and a walk as Frederick puts it on the floor, but he took a step before he did so. 5-2, AC leads, 4:50 to play. First quarter, Atlantic City and Pleasantville. Greyhounds wearing white, Pleasantville, the home team here. They don't get too many home games against Atlantic City.
They don't, as we talked about in the open, and now that defensive pressure causing a timeout to be called there by the Hounds.
Butch Warner calls timeout. His 0-1 Greyhounds want to talk things over here as the Vikings turning up the defensive pressure. They lead 5-2.
I'd like to thank Thomas Dwyer and Premier Orthopedic Associates for bringing the action to everyone out there today free of charge. Multiple locations in South Jersey. Give them a call at 856-690-1616. Of course, the live streams paramount this year, Mike. I mean, they were a luxury in years past, and but this year they're necessary. It's such a tough situation for parents all across the state right now not to be able to see their kids in person, but we're happy to try to be that bridge, if you will, between the game action and a lot of those parents and just regular fans too. I mean, not even if you have a kid in the game, but there's just a lot of fans we see year in, year out that love the high school basketball scene, have to watch from home, at least right now so far this year.
Yeah, and it's great that we have the capability of being able to do that. How far we've come with covering these games. All right, back to live action out of the timeout. Walker brings it up off to the right wing, over to Davenport. Catches at the top of the key, Villegas. Mitchell with the left-hand dribble. And here's Walker, a freshman, who's getting the start in a Pleasantville Atlantic City game. Michael Villegas. Dribble drive, middle of the paint, and he took steps. Boy, that's like the fourth travel I feel like we've seen today.
It's tough sledding right now for this Pleasantville team. I mean, like we talked about, it's a young starting lineup out there, even younger today for Butch Warner, and this is a veteran Atlantic City group, so they're going to try to put these Greyhounds players in some tough spots, that time a travel.
Blakely and Frederick playing catch in the backcourt. Down in the post. Kick out, down on the block, and an easy layup. Nice ball movement there. Tic-tac-toe, and Chad Lewis gets a bucket.
We love to watch Gene Allen get animated over there on the sideline. Nothing to be animated about that sequence, so perfect passing there by his Vikings.
Pleasantville with some pressure from Atlantic City. They cross the timeline, 3:50 to play, 7-2. AC leads first quarter. On the wing, Davenport. Davenport goes behind the back. Davenport left of the lane. Davenport kicks it into the corner. Goes baseline is Walker, and he loses the handle, and it'll stay with Pleasantville. Another change for the Vikings coming in off the bench for the first time here. Frieden Hill.
I think that's a P.
Sorry, I can't read your writing.
I have poor handwriting. I believe it's Pridgeon Hill.
Pridgeon Hill. And the shot is up and over the rim. Rebounded offensively by Pleasantville. Michael Villegas. And he is fouled.
Yeah, you're seeing Atlantic City go deeper into its bench. Gene Allen is right now. And we've seen that traditionally in this game over the years, too. And, oftentimes it's because of the atmosphere and the nerves and trying to get some different kids' experience in this game. And it feels like right now Atlantic City taking that same approach, going 7-8 deep early here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Naquan Blakely's into the game for the first time for Atlantic City. He's wearing number 1. Pleasantville with the ball. They trail 7-2. Man-to-man defense. Very traditional look from the Vikings, dressed in blue. Cradling the ball between the circles at the top of the key is Isaiah Davenport. He goes left to lane, shoots down the middle, fires up a right-hand runner. No good. Rebound brought down by Lewis. Here comes the Vikings in transition. Cuts down the middle of the lane and fouled. It looked like a little grab of the shoulder there prevented him from getting all the way to the hoop. But with exactly 3 minutes left in the first quarter, Atlantic City looking to extend the lead.
We should note, too, Mike, we saw Noel Gonzalez walk into the gym today, but now I'm looking over on the bench on the Pleasantville side, and it looks like he is not in uniform. So he had 25 points in that opening night loss against ACIT, but looks like not available for head coach Butch Warner today.
Don't forget the South Jersey Shoot-Around is on the BFA Productions Facebook page. You can watch the video of this game and check in on other games. They'll be doing that all season long. Streaming video of this game and other games at the same time, like Holy Spirit and the prep going on about 5 minutes from us. Couple free throws are good. And Frederick gives Atlantic City a 7-point lead with the 2 free throws. Then they get a steal right back the other way into the corner. Blakely, and a little pull-up jumper is good, and Blakely has 4 points. It's a nice little pull-up there from about 7.
Yeah, this game unfolding the way we thought it might. Another turnover here against Pleasantville, but it's tough to go against this Atlantic City pressure. It's tough for a veteran group to go against it, and this is an inexperienced Pleasantville team right now doesn't mean they're not talented, but there's a difference between talent and handling that Atlantic City full court pressure.
Well, Mike, you look down the Atlantic City ledger here. Senior, junior, senior, 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 junior, senior, junior, junior, junior. He's got a veteran team. They haven't had that the last couple of years. That's why you've seen some up and down Atlantic City play. A lot of these guys took their licks early on in their careers, and now they're the veterans who are turning it over.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We talked about it amongst ourselves, before we even went on the air. I think it was 2 years ago when Pleasantville finally broke that streak and beat Atlantic City. That was the year that Pleasantville had that big three in the backcourt, and Greyhounds really put together a nice year. Atlantic City winning this game again last year, as a lot of these seniors, as we just talked about, were juniors in the rotation for Gene Allen. Now they're seniors. Obviously, there's no championship to play for this year, Mike, but, it's a group that has to kind of treat every game like a mini championship. And I think based on what got taken away from Atlantic City with COVID-19 at the end of last season, they value each game a little bit more. And certainly it's been a business-like approach for Atlantic City so far here today.
By the way, Phillies just signed D.D. Gregorius, so making some moves on that angle as well. We're keeping you up to date on everything. You can read more about that from Frank Close at 973ESPN.com with all the details. I don't know what the deal is, but they got him signed.
Getting the gang back together. JT.
Get the band
D-D.
back together, man. Now if they only had a guy like Mike Adams pitching in their bullpen.
Hey, you know what? Might be a possibility this year. What a story, huh?
Unbelievable story. Great story to read and hear about. 3 ball out of the timeout by Blakely is too strong, and the Greyhounds will get the ball back. 11-2 they trail. And this is Jaden Jones, starter, back into the game. Pleasantville with the ball, gets some pressure, and Atlantic City backs off. But Blakely continuing, following him all the way down, and all the way down the court goes Walker, and Blakely just was in his hip pocket the entire time.
How about that? I mean, Blakely, he's got to be, 5'6", 5'7", but the rejection there.
Pleasantville inbounds. Off on the right side. St. Germain into the game. Gets a screen, rolls off, goes baseline, little leave and a bucket. Valleas gets on the board. That's a nice play there.
Yeah, nice dime there from David St. Germain. It wasn't easy to sort of penetrate that Atlantic City defense, but able to keep the handle and find his teammate there for a bucket.
11-4 the score. Pleasantville trying to turn up the defensive intensity. And we got a turnover. So Atlantic City a little frantic.
Yeah, see what a bucket can do for you. Give you a little bit of confidence. That confidence was lacking for Pleasantville to this point, but, they get 2 on the offensive end. The energy picks up on the defensive end, able to turn the Vikings over.
AC. Colmone into the game. Dylan Colmone. He's wearing number 2, defending the basketball. Well, man-to-man, uses the screen, rolls off, top of the key, over for St. Germain. Now here comes that screen again. They throw it opposite. 1:27 to play here in the first. 11-4, AC leads. Walker. Trying to get a little separation from Calmoun. David St. Germain is pressured on the Viking sideline in front of the Viking bench. Now the ball's loose on the floor. We got a scrap and another jump ball. The arrow's going to go with Atlantic City.
How about Jaden Jones, too, diving for that basketball? That's a senior diving on the floor right now, trying to make the most of the opportunity there. And again, you're seeing that defensive intensity pick up from Atlantic City.
Davenport in for Pleasantville. 11-4. AC leads with the ball. Deep into the post, and a nice entry pass. Calmone gets it in, and Mack goes up strong. He's fouled from the backside. He'll get to the line. Mack, big boy for a senior there. He gets to the line, but, these are the type of guys sometimes, that wide body, it's tough for Pleasantville to match up with.
Yeah, and this is a kid, too, that, I know Gene Allen was very excited about, and as we talked about, a kid that didn't play a ton of minutes last year, but really worked on his game over the summer in a year that was far from traditional. They couldn't really be around each other a whole lot, but just worked on his game and, carved out a nice playing time role for himself in his senior season.
Second attempt is good. He's 2 for 2 from the line there. 3 points for Amir Mack. 13-4 the lead. All the way back the other way, and the layup is too strong, and the rebound is fought for and won. AC comes out of it. 50 seconds to go here in the first quarter, trying to get some more. Calmon was the intended pass for Jones, and it was kicked.
Pleasantville trying to go NASCAR style, just get that ball right back in. So although the officials aren't going to touch it, they are going to blow their whistles and try to reset everyone here.
Normally you would give the ball to the official and he has to start the game back up. That's not the case anymore.
It's not. It's a learning process as we're dealing with here. But hey, there's basketball.
Pleasantville with the ball, trailing 13-4. 30 seconds left to play here in this first quarter. Man-to-man pressure defense. St. Germain leaves it off. Davenport staring down at the foul line, kicks it out, and he throws it away, and it was tipped off by Blakely. It'll stay with the Greyhounds. 15 seconds left.
Big opportunity here for Pleasantville. Obviously just 4 points on the board in the first quarter, but if you can get 2 or maybe even 3 here, you feel that much better going into the second.
St. Germain. Baseline, cut off, spin move, nicely too strong on the layup attempt. Atlantic City gets the board, and that's how the first quarter is going to end. Atlantic City 13, Pleasantville 4 at the end of 1 here from BFA and 97.3 ESPN.com. Vikings 13, Greyhounds 4, and kind of a up and down first quarter there as you see kind of the pace that Atlantic City's looking for, and we see their experience is the difference.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, not having Noel Gonzalez in the lineup for whatever reason today for Pleasantville after he had that big night on opening night against ACIT. I mean, obviously in a game like this where you kind of need that veteran leader, it's going to hurt Pleasantville. So you saw Atlantic City's veterans come out, a senior leading group, a lot of great guard play, and sort of they dictated the tempo early, and now it's going to be up to the Greyhounds to try to find their way back. I mean, still just a 9-point game after 1. That is a big lead after 1 quarter of play. But offensively, Pleasantville has to figure something out against this tenacious man-to-man AC defense.
Yeah, Mike, they have just 1 field goal. That's it. They have the 2 free throws and the 1 field goal. They had a couple looks. You saw some strong attempts here, but Atlantic City's getting you from a couple different angles. They're getting to the line, and they're getting what I'm impressed with from AC. They've set up a couple nice opportunities down on the blocks. A lot of good passing, very low into the paint.
Yeah, I was over there in preseason one day, and they worked for about an hour, not against the defense either, just the starting 5 on the floor, just working the offense, looking for the best shot, and so I know that's something obviously that Gene Allen is preaching this year, some patience from his offense. Like we talked about, they want to run when they can, but in that half-court set, they want to get the best opportunity possible. They've gotten a lot of good looks so far against this Pleasantville defense.
Yeah, this is a very different AC. They don't have that one go-to guy, it seems like. Pleasantville starts things off in the second quarter with the ball, kicking into the corner. Dribble drive off the back of the iron, no good, and the rebound is fought for by Mathau, and he puts up the shot. It's short. Fought for. Rebound comes down, and again, it is Mitchell who goes baseline. Mitchell spins, turns, foul line, and a short shot again, and it's another offensive board. Now a steal by Blakely as the ball is rolling. A lot of hustle, a lot of opportunities for Pleasantville. A lot of good looks there. They just can't get that thing to fall.
Yeah, scrappy possession, and again, we have a horn after an inbounds play here, and it's just tough for everyone to get on the same page with the officials not holding the basketball. But that was a scrappy offensive possession, and Atlantic City just unable to secure that defensive rebound. Opportunity after opportunity for the Greyhounds. Really need to cash in on some of those to try and get back into this game.
Villegas inbounds the ball. St. Germain, and he gets it knocked out. Vikings trapping right off the bat there off the inbounds pass. Boy, they are quick. Davenport dribble behind the back, changes directions, kicks it into the corner. Left to the lane, and then he took a step. They are just being suffocated trying to get a good look.
That was Chad Lewis defensively there. Great defense, just kept his body in front of the ball handler there and forced the turnover.
7 minutes to play here in the half. Down on the block, Mack. Nice pass. Kick out. And we got a whistle down. And it looked like, again, 3 seconds.
Yeah, a situation there where it was a nice pass from Mack, but Lewis unable to catch it cleanly. And because he was bobbling it, he took some time in the lane trying to gather. And a good call there, 3-second violation.
13-4, AC has not scored. Neither team has scored here. About 2 minutes gone by. St. Germain, a high dribble, went to the ground, got himself back up. Now a belt high dribble, trying to veer to the right, and he stepped on the sideline there, it looked like. Or nope, they're going to get a hand check first.
Yeah, not sure what that whistle was going to be. It was close to a 5-second call, too. Good defense from Blakely out there. And give St. Germain credit. Goes down to a knee, keeps his dribble alive, keeps the possession alive for Pleasantville.
Trying to inbound ball. Boy, Atlantic City's defense has just been stifling. They get a steal. Stolen away by Frederick. Back the other way, Blakely. Blakely runs into St. Germain, and we got a foul.
Tell you what, Nassan Blakely, between the dive right in front of our table here for the ball, and now he takes one right across the face there. He's need a little ice bath after this one. Tough kid, though.
AC 13-4, they lead. Frederick bounce pass to Blakely. Blakely on the left wing, looking at his own defense. High hands. And the ball's tipped away with those hands. Here comes St. Germain. And, boy, they can't get a breakout. The breakout is just taken away. And Pleasantville just dribbling through traffic, loses the ball. A lot of sloppy play. And the Greyhounds, they just seem to be very frustrated. They can't find a way to get a good shot off.
Nothing is easy, as you just talked about. I mean, you know, against a lot of teams, that's going to be an opportunity for a layup at the other end. But Jaden Jones, sensing that, sort of cut off the ball handler right along the sideline there. As now the officials want to talk things over, so we pull the masks up and have a conversation there. But you're right. I mean, you know, not like anything is ever easy when you play against Atlantic City, but certainly for a younger Pleasantville team, you know, you don't want us to keep beating the same drum here, but I don't think it can be overstated right now. I mean, it's tough to sort of find a rhythm in a game like this, but obviously it's a challenge that Pleasantville is going to have to figure out if they want to win this one.
All right, AC with the ball back to live action. 6 minutes to play here. 2 minutes going by here, second quarter. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel. Thanks to our friends at Premier Orthopedic Associates. Dr. Dwyer over there hooking us up for this season, making this all available for the parents and fans out there. Nice bounce pass by Blakely. Putting it on the floor is Mack, and he loses the handle.
Yeah, Atlantic City fortunate there to retain possession because Mack had that power dribble, tried to gather it, lost it on the way up, but it ended up being poked away by the Greyhounds.
So give Pleasantville some credit, too, by the way, playing some good defense. Inbounds pass taken by Blakely. Blakely, a bounce pass to his brother. But Blakely and Blakely in the backcourt together. And a bounce pass was off, not on the same page there. He was looking for Frederick, and it went off the foot of Mitchell.
Yeah, Atlantic City right now can't find a way inside. I think the Vikings have to try to utilize that high post situation, whether it's Mack or, you know, even a Lewis flashing in there. They have to try to work inside out because right now the Greyhounds getting very active on the outside of that zone defense.
Nobody's scored yet in this second quarter. Almost 3 minutes gone by. Frederick and Blakely in the backcourt. Pleasantville really putting the defensive pressure up. Fishbein into the game for the first time, and his pass too strong. Boy, a nice pass from Fishbein down to Mack, and Mack almost wasn't ready for it.
I think he was under the basket, too. I think he's just telling a teammate there. I mean, it was a really nice look, but I think Mack, you know, hindsight 2020, would have been better off trying to get to the other side of the rim to try and lay that in.
Now, I'm old. Fishbein's father was my catcher.
How about that?
That doesn't make me feel good.
You called me old off at the top.
Well, you've been doing this for a long time. I'm giving you a little resume.
Appreciate that.
13-4, 5 minutes to play. First half, and Pleasantville, again, just really struggling to get any sort of offense going. This Atlantic City defense stifling from start to finish so far.
You almost have to try to go over the top if you're Pleasantville. The problem is the Greyhounds don't really have, you know, that traditional big guy in the lineup. Elijah Jones not returning for his senior year here, transferring to a school in Maryland. And, you know, again, it's not a guy that they went into the season thinking they would have, but by not having it against a team like this and a game like this, you know, you lose something.
Well, Mike, you talk about Gonzalez not being here. He had 25 points the other night. You talk about taking 25 points out of a team that scored 60 the other night, and you're wondering, okay, how are we making that up? Well, they're finding it hard.
They are, and, you know, Atlantic City is not going to make it easy on anyone, and just great denial of the basketball right now from these Vikings guards out top. You know, no pass is easy right now for the Greyhounds, but as we talked about, Pleasantville has picked up its defense as well.
Blakely blocked away, and Blakely comes down with the rebound. But, boy, nice defense there by Whitaker. Foul line, Fishbein, 3-ball up, and Fishbein short, and the rebound is run down by Fishbein, and then he tries to dump it down into the block, and he travels, so.
Yeah, it's a good look there by Fishbein. I mean, that's what you want playing against that defense. You want an open look. He had it, just wasn't able to sink it.
Don't forget the South Jersey Shoot-Around is on the BFA Productions Facebook page. They're streaming Spirit and Prep and this game. You can watch both at the same time. Into the paint, ties up, and we got another jump ball. Faces Pleasantville. That jump ball arrow is getting a workout.
It is. Just goes to show you the kind of game this is. A lot of tie-ups, obviously, but a lot of scrappy defense both ways.
We have yet to see a bucket or a basket at all of any sort in this second quarter, and we are halfway through. Still 13-4, the same way we left the first quarter.
Haven't even seen many shots. I mean, you had that flurry of misses from Pleasantville early in the quarter, but.
And a Race Frederick off the steal. The inbounds was just thrown into the backcourt, and Atlantic City ran it down and took it coast to coast.
That's the situation there. Inexperience for Pleasantville. At least grab that basketball, try to make a play for it. I think maybe the Greyhounds thought that was going to be a backcourt violation, but it was off an out-of-bounds pass. So you can track that down back there, but just that moment of hesitation, whereas the senior on the other side, Frederick, for Atlantic City, did not hesitate.
Yeah, and he kicked it into another gear and just outran the Greyhound player, and, of course, gets the coast-to-coast layup, and then back the other way. Barnes gets fouled, and now a timeout taken by Atlantic City. 15-4, they lead it here, and it has been, you say it's all Atlantic City. They have the lead pretty handily, but Pleasantville's defense has given Atlantic City some problems.
It has, and that wasn't the case necessarily in the first quarter, but it's been a different story here in that second quarter. I mean, the only points we've seen just happened on a run-out turnover situation. But, great defense there by Pleasantville, so far, but it's going to take more than great defense to get back into the game. And again, we'd like to remind you, today's game brought to you by Dr. Thomas Dwyer and Premier Orthopedics Associates. Thanks so much for bringing this action free to the viewers out there. Multiple locations throughout South Jersey, 856-690-1616. That's 856-690-1616. So give Premier Orthopedic Associates a call. And again, find them at multiple spots in South Jersey.
Yeah, the way these kids are slipping, sliding all over the court, they might need to call Doc after this game. We got a lot of hustle, a lot of banging bodies. Pleasantville inbounding, again finding it tough. Near steal by Frederick. Now a corner three look is up, and it is strong, and the rebound's ripped down by Mack. And a foul off of the rebound, and that is going to be the 5th team foul for Pleasantville.
And that's what Mack can give you, too. I mean, he has a few points so far today on the offensive end. He has 4, but it's that rebounding and that inside presence that's going to keep him in that heavy rotation lineup kind of situation for Gene Allen right now. And certainly you like to see that if you're head coach Allen because, early on in this quarter, your team was not able to secure those rebounds.
Frederick bounced past to Fishbein. Fishbein on the wing, dribbling through 2 Greyhound defenders. He kicked it back out. Down low, Max spins and gets a layup.
Nice look there by Jaheim Frederick, finding his senior teammate down low. And that time he was under the basket, but he was able to figure out where he was and get a good layup attempt up.
17-4, AC in the lead. Another steal, ball's on the floor. AC comes out of the fray with it. And Lewis with a layup, and he's fouled. And Lewis with a nice, pretty move. And Atlantic City now out of that timeout, Mike, looks like they're starting to get a little groove going here.
Right, and this is, if you're Pleasantville in the second quarter, you're getting after it defensively, and you're kind of treading water with Atlantic City and not losing more points on the scoreboard. But now this is trouble time. 3 minutes to go here in the half, and you're already down by 13 with Atlantic City on the line. In and out there, though.
Yep. Lewis at the line. Second attempt coming. And his front rim's it no good. Rebound, fought for it. Boy, Whitaker thought he had it. He was going to the ground and then got tangled up.
Yeah, that's a tough call because it seemed like Mack at least had his hands on the basketball, and there must have been some contact down low, but Mack shaking his head. He can't believe that one.
17-4, just under 3 minutes to play here in the half. St. Germain's shot is short. Frederick comes out with it. Frederick running. Blakely loses it. Nope, gives it off to Mack, and another bucket for Mack. He's got 7 running out.
Yeah, Jaden Jones again facilitating. The senior no points today, but a number of assists and making the right decision there. It was a 3-on-2 break. That extra pass led to the layup.
Villegas backs up. Now, he had the brother last year who was shoot threes from Absecon.
Yeah, and there's another Villegas on the team, too. So, obviously a big part of this Pleasantville program.
A long three, in and out, no good. But that's almost the best look they've had. Davenport shot it from way out, and a layup on the transition is good by Frederick. He's got 8, and the Vikings are up 21-4.
And Jaden Jones on the assist once again. You know, it's an unselfish Atlantic City group, Mike. It's, you know, a kid like Jones can get, 10, 12, 14 a day, a night, whatever you want to call it, but assists his game today.
St. Germain gets a wide-open 3 look, and he misses everything. Rebound comes down by Mack. Now Atlantic City looks like they got some confidence. They're kicking into another gear. Mack going coast to coast, and he walked, kind of tripped.
And that's probably the one guy, on the floor right now that you maybe don't want running the break. I know Mack can show off the handle there, but he gets called for the traveling violation. I think better off maybe next time to dish that to a guard and, go set yourself up down low, try to get one of those layups.
Layup shot off the back of the top of the glass, no good. Taken out by AC. AC out and running again. Blakely, here he comes, shooting down the center, back behind the back, pulls it back out. This is Hassan Blakely. Jaden Jones, cross court for Frederick into the corner. And a turnover. Ball's on the floor, right back though. Frederick runs it back down. Bounce pass for Blakely. Blakely, a little baseline, cut off nicely. Now a cross-court pass at the elbow. A little floater up and no good. Rebound, Mack. And Mack is fouled, but Mack is really starting to assert his dominance with his size and strength and getting good position.
No doubt. I think Gene Allen not happy with that possession for a while. The Vikings didn't seem to have the right spacing, but once they slowed themselves down a little bit, they were able to get spaced out and create some angles like the one you just saw, the pass to Mack.
Mike Pleasantville still hasn't scored in the second quarter. And it's not been, Atlantic City's only scored 7 points in the quarter, but it's just the fact that Pleasantville, that's how good Atlantic City's defense has been. Just no looks to be had.
Right, and where do those points come from, right? I mean, we talked about it. Noel Gonzalez not in the lineup today. That's 25 of your 60 points the other night that you just don't have.
First free throw, no good. Mack makes the second. He's got 8. Him and Frederick, co-leaders with 8 points for Atlantic City. They lead all scores. Coming up on a minute to play here in the half. 22-4. AC leads. Dribble drive, stripped away, out in transition. Jones is going to go coast to coast. He leaves a nice layup. No good, too strong. Pridgeon Hill, a little too much English on that. It was almost like he was running too fast and couldn't slow himself down.
Maybe a little too unselfish, or a little, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
a little too
right.
unselfish that time, and we've been praising the extra pass, but I think that time, especially from Jaden Jones, that's an opportunity for him to finish near the rim himself.
3 ball, and that is way short and ripped down there by Mack. Mack gets stripped away, and Mitchell's too strong. Mitchell gets up his own rebound and the putback, and he's fouled. And Mitchell's had a lot of short looks in there, little bunnies. He just can't get them to go.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're questioning whether this is a game that Pleasantville is just going to roll over for, I think that's your answer right now. I mean, Mitchell working extremely hard down low. You thought he got fouled in the act there, and I guess they're going to say possession, but great work there on the offensive glass there from Ivan Mitchell.
And Mike, we read the AC roster. Every player here is a junior or a senior. Pleasantville, sophomore, freshman. I mean, they are a very young team. They do have a couple seniors mixed in, one of which Gonzalez is not playing. They got a lot of young ones, including Mitchell, who's a big boy. And Mitchell loses it. It's kicked away. Frederick's going to go all the way to the hole and good. Jaheim Frederick's got 10 in transition there, and it gives Atlantic City a 20-point lead. I think he stepped out of bounds on that far sideline.
Yeah, another opportunity here for Atlantic City is this game has just kind of slipped away from the Greyhounds here in the later stages of the second. As we talked about, great defense from both teams about halfway through the quarter, but a lot of easy buckets for Atlantic City here before halftime.
We'll see AC a few more times this year. You'll be able to watch AC in action. Blakely 3 is short off the front of the rim. Mitchell gets the rebound, and that's going to do it for the end of the first half here in Pleasantville with the score. Atlantic City 24 and Pleasantville nothing. 4. I say nothing because they did not score in that second quarter. And look, this isn't to say, hey, Pleasantville had a tough time at the office. They did, but Atlantic City's defense was that good.
Especially in the later stages of that second quarter, as we talked about. I mean, how many turnovers did Atlantic City force there in that second quarter, which led to easy buckets or led to extra possessions? And there's just no gimmies right now for Pleasantville, obviously, with just 4 points on the board through 16 minutes of basketball. The Greyhounds having trouble finding anything even resembling an open look on the offensive end.
Yeah, Mike, and the leading scorers for the game, Frederick with 10, Mack with 8. For Atlantic City, Blakely has 4 as well, Lewis with 2. That's the scoring for AC. And, of course, Pleasantville has the 1 bucket. Villegas has the 1 bucket and 2 free throws by Whitaker, and that is it for Pleasantville. Second half, obviously, Butch Warner's up against it. He knows that he's got a young team against a veteran Atlantic City team. So, obviously, this is going to be a tough hill for them to climb. But trying to figure out how to handle that pressure is the big problem here. And we'll see if Atlantic City keeps the foot on the gas.
Yeah, I think the only thing you can do is just, get better with experience, right? It's not like he has, that kid, that senior that he can put in the lineup today. So you can't coach up coaching against pressure. You just can't. I mean, you have to have the experience. Pleasantville got plenty of the experience there in that first half. Now let's see if they can kind of learn from it and try to beat it, a little easier. You're not going to be able to beat Atlantic City's pressure all night, all day, but you can pick your spots and maybe you get some open opportunities out of that.
All right, Mike, real quick, while we have a couple minutes here, let's take a look at what's happened. It's very early, but last year never really finished. I mean, Atlantic City, as we mentioned, never got to finish their season. So give us a couple teams that people should keep an eye on in this, truncated season that we're going to see. It's about 15 games, right?
Yeah, 15 is the goal. I mean, we're hoping that everyone can get those 15 games, but we're already seeing sort of some cancellations, COVID-19 related. But that's the goal, 15 games. There's no Cape Atlantic League tournament this year. Of course, that's the marquee event year in, year out. There's no state playoffs this year. So, every game, as we talked about, is sort of that little mini championship. So Atlantic City, very solid team. I think if you're talking about, the top of the league, you have to kind of start at St. Augustine and also St. Joseph Academy. A lot of kids back for the Wildcats. But Atlantic City is right there too. Wildwood Catholic, you can never count them out. Holy Spirit, Egg Harbor Township, younger teams on the rise. So it should be a good year. Ocean City, the list goes on and on. A very competitive Cal this year. We've seen Wildwood Catholic, they've been so much better, quite frankly, than the rest of the league the last couple of years. That's not the case this year. There's not that team that's so far ahead. So there should be some good games.
If there was a tournament this year, you would think that streak would be snapped.
You don't want to count Wildwood Catholic out. That wouldn't be fair. And they have a lot of talent this year.
I don't want to make the people at Wildwood mad. That's not a good place to make mad.
No, Deshaun Lopez, Martin Angelov are 2 of the better players in the Cal. But, you lose 2 Division I players. You lose, a Division III player from the rotation last year. It's hard to replace that. So, again, like we talked about, I think St. Augustine and St. Joe, for me, are probably the 2 top teams. Atlantic City's right there, too, though.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with the second half. By the way, I understand the people over at Boca and Margate have us up on the big screen there, so Mike will wave to them over there. Thanks to those guys who are streaming live. The people at Premier Orthopedic Associates, Dr. Dwyer, we appreciate them as well, bringing you all this action. No one's allowed in the gym, but we're happy to bring it to you here. So people like Boca and whoever's watching, we appreciate you guys out there. We'll be back with the third quarter in the second half right here with BFA Productions.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tom Dwyer, CEO of Premier Orthopedic Associates. As a parent of 2 former high school athletes, I can only imagine how difficult it is for so many of you who are unable to be at the game to watch your child or favorite student athlete compete due to COVID-19 restrictions this season. As such, our team here at Premier Orthopedic Associates has partnered with our friends at BFA Sports to give you, the fans, a virtual front row seat. And for the student athlete, a new experience, a pretty cool professional broadcast they'll be able to keep forever at no cost for all of you to enjoy. Well, I see it's just about time for tip-off. So from all of us here at Premier Orthopedic Associates, best of luck this season. Stay safe, be well, and while we hope we don't see any of you anytime soon, we're here for you if you should need us. Enjoy the game.
All right, start of the third quarter here, Atlantic City and Pleasantville. Vikings lead 24-7 as we're back to live action here at the third quarter. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel set to bring you the second half of this game. All Vikings so far, but hopefully Pleasantville had a good talk at halftime, see what they can come up with, but a turnover to start things off here in the third quarter. And as we talked about, Mike, in the first half, all Atlantic City, their defense has really been the story.
It has been. Pleasantville, no open looks right now, nothing even close to an open look. And if you're Atlantic City right now, obviously you don't have to go fast. You can just try to run some clock, run some offense, and try to close this game out here in the second half.
Blakely down on the block. Hobbs, who started the game, is back in to start the second half. Here's Frederick, little ball fake, kick in the corner, 3-ball up. Jones is strong, and the rebound is off of Atlantic City, and it'll go back to Pleasantville. Lewis early in the games, and Hobbs already taking a seat.
No threes in that first half, Mike, as we were calling it. We tried to think back, and certainly Pleasantville didn't have one, and Atlantic City did not have one either.
Mitchell shot, and he gets it to go. So Ivan Mitchell, his first deuce of the night. Afternoon.
Morning, what time is it?
All the times are a little off today.
A little bit, but here we are. Yeah, good start there for Pleasantville. Obviously you need to try to chip away here little by little.
Down in the paint, Mack has got double figures with 10. Back the other way, a little home run pass, a left-hand layup, too strong, run down by Lewis. Boy, finally a breakout for Pleasantville, and they can't get the layup to go. Here comes Blakely. Blakely, Jones in the backcourt. Blakely in the corner. Max says, you're going to give me a wide open three? I'll take it. Off the iron, no good. But the rebound by Jones, reverse layup blocked away, and Lewis gets the putback.
Lewis just always seems to be in the right place at the right time, Mike. Just always in and around the basket. He's got 6 relatively easy points so far today.
And Walker, the freshman, takes it to the bucket, and Blakely, the senior, says, Rook, not today.
Yeah, it's almost like that early bucket from Mitchell kind of woke Atlantic City up in this second half and said, hey, we're not letting you guys back into this game.
Inbound pass, they get it to Walker. Walker stared down by Blakely. Top of the key, back for Davenport. Davenport goes behind the back, foul line, cuts down the middle, right-hand floater, too strong, rebound Frederick, outlet pass. Blakely one-on-one with the basket, and the layup is strong. Blakely's got 6, the Vikings 30, the Greyhounds 6. Left of the lane, off of his foot. It looked like Villegas, either off his foot or the Viking defender.
Off of a foot as Naquan Blakely gets set to check back in. But yeah, Davenport unable to finish, but that's the kind of flash that I think Pleasantville is excited about. He's able to split basically the entire team and get down the lane. He couldn't finish it, but he has that kind of ability for Pleasantville.
Don't forget, South Jersey Shoot-Arounds, BFA Productions Facebook page. The Prep and Holy Spirit just tipped off as a 3 is short and a nice rebound. Taken back by Pleasantville, though. Mitchell back to the basket. Mitchell throws up a shot, couldn't get that to fall. Well, he's really hustled down there. By the way, so it's Prep and Spirit over in Absecon. That game just tipped, and they're running the South Jersey Shoot-Around. It's a cool thing this year that BFA is doing where all these schools have cameras in them now, and BFA has tapped into the cameras, and it's going to kind of be a red zone look for high school basketball.
Sign me up. I'm interested in that for sure. It's great. Obviously, we've talked about it, and, the more video coverage of these games, the better this season. It's needed now more than ever, and, you know, if you can't be here, if you're a parent, you're a fan, at least you can watch the streams, and it's almost like you are.
Yeah, I know a lot of local establishments are saying, hey, come on down, have a little bite to eat. We'll put the game on in here. And everybody can kind of feel some sense of normalcy of just watching a game. Blakely down on the block. Mack cutting Frederick, and he trips, and he's fouled in the paint. By the way, Mitchell, who has 4 points in this quarter, all of a sudden is the leading scorer for Pleasantville. Blakely catches the inbounds. Cross court, Jones down to Mack in the paint. Stripped and stolen away. Here comes Mitchell in transition. And the layup is too strong, but a foul, Villegas. So Pleasantville got out in transition there, and they'll get to the line.
I think if you're Butch Warner, you know, Ivan Mitchell really showing you something so far here in this third quarter. It would have been really easy for this young Greyhounds team to, you don't want to say go through the motions, but, you know, the game is really one-sided through a half, but Mitchell's out here playing his tail off.
Villegas' first free throw is good. He is a senior. Brother Jeff is a sophomore. This is a very odd part about this whole not touching the ball, where you're at the foul line, you got to pick the ball up off the ground many times.
Yeah, and you know, short there, it's an unnatural motion just to go down and pick it up and then try to get ready to shoot.
Blakely coast to coast, and Naquan Blakely gets his first bucket of the day. Yeah, you got to go down, pick it up, and then kind of get to your free throw routine.
I've seen a handful of games so far. Sometimes a teammate will toss the ball, but, you know, oftentimes it's that picking it up. And speaking of picking it up, Mitchell picking his game up.
6 points for the sophomore. 32-11, Pleasantville into double figures. Blakely, a little short jumper. Boy, that one was one of the better swishes you'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. One of those runners, Tyrese Maxey-like.
Strong take, too strong. The rebound is taken by Frederick. It's stripped out and ripped out by Mathau.
I thought you meant my take was strong, comparing him to Maxey, but
Maxey goes with that floater look.
yeah, that's almost what that was, right? It was sort of that, you know, it wasn't a set shot. It wasn't quite a jumper. A little bit on the move, but it was pretty either way.
Pridgeon Hill. This is Jai Pridgeon Hill, a junior into the game. Does Atlantic City have 2 sets of twins? Vikings get called for traveling. So Pleasantville looking to get a little momentum here.
Yeah, you know, it has to be more than trading baskets, though, right? And you like Pleasantville's energy if you're Butch Warner here in this second half, but it takes both. It takes buckets and some stops. And, hey, you never know. If you can cut into this a little bit, maybe you feel a little bit better going into the fourth.
Well, they had 4 points entering this quarter. It's a big win for them already. Off to the wing. Villegas up top. St. Germain, a little jab step, gets it into the corner. At the elbow, a little right-hand set shot. Is short, but the offensive board. Davenport down on the block. Too strong for Mitchell, and Blakely comes out with the miss. Here come the Vikings, back in transition. Frederick pulls it out. Now he crosses it to Lewis into the corner for Hill. Top of the key. Frederick, cross court for Blakely. Blakely tees up a 3. In and out, no good. The rebound in the corner, and it's stolen away. Here come the Greyhounds now. They've got numbers. And St. Germain's layup attempt is blocked from the backside. Now Blakely, that's the other brother, has a block.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who had the first one, so I was hesitant to say 2. But, yeah, I mean, the Blakely brothers
The
getting
2
after
smallest
it.
guys on the court have the 2 blocks.
Hey, you know, and you expect, you know, steals from guys like that, but they got some hops getting up there.
Jaden Jones is in for Jai Hill. Jones has been a pretty good facilitator so far. And I've been in this gym where it's been 120 degrees.
Yeah, what is going on in here?
It is 20 degrees today.
The heat is just straight up not on right now.
It's like I got an ice pack from Premier Orthopedic Associates. Hey, Dr. Dwyer, my leg hurts. You need a little ice on that. Just go to the Pleasantville gym.
How about a whole gym of ice?
Right?
And, you know, maybe it's too, you know, you're trying to figure out, you have all these bodies in here in a normal situation, and that's adding to the heat. And so maybe the heat is on, and you just, you know, it's hard to calculate what a gym is going to feel like without all those people in it. But it feels like it's not on, if we're being honest. I'm trying to give Pleasantville the benefit of the doubt here, but
it's a Saturday. It's early in the morning. Maybe the guy forgot to be here. Frederick coast to coast. Nice hustle by Mitchell to prevent the bucket.
Yeah,
send Frederick to the line.
Clean hustle, too. I mean, a situation like that, it can get ugly. But Mitchell was going for the ball there, just hustling, as you said, and, just a good hard foul.
Frederick at the line shoots 2. Looking at that DD deal, 2 years, $28 million.
Not bad if you can get it.
That's what they're paying us to do this game. I didn't tell you.
I have to share that with you? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, instead of 2 years, 28, it's 2 people, 28.
Right,
so we're getting like 14 each.
Good signing. I think the market, in a normal year, maybe you don't get that guy back, right? But it's not a normal year. So.
Yeah, good point. And Frederick hits. 36-11 AC. All AC. Their defense has been the story. Pleasantville with the ball. Dribble drive down the. They got a foul at the free throw line. Villegas. Yeah, this is one of the more bizarre situations where the officials aren't supposed to touch the ball, and the ball's just kind of rolling all over the place, and the players are kind of picking up and throwing it to each other to restart play. Look, you see the player, he's palming it, walking it over himself.
Right, and, a traveling violation there. It's this officiating crew is doing a nice job blowing the whistle, but, I've been at some games so far this year where you don't get a whistle every time, and then it hasn't come to this, but, when does the 5-second count start, right? I mean, when the kid says he's ready to go, I mean, it's a lot of gray area this year.
Well, again, this year is more about just playing games. They're out there playing, having a good time. There is no playoffs, no championships. Blakely's shot is on the baseline. It's too strong. The rebound is tipped up and put back. No good. Blakely takes it down and pulls it back out. 2:14 left to play here, third quarter. Baseline, and Jones goes down hard, but he was fouled, and he'll get to the line.
Good aggression there by Jaden Jones. You talked about him being that facilitator. He's scoreless to this point, but a number of assists so far today. That's an opportunity where it was clear that he had the baseline drive available, and he took advantage of it.
Remember, we'll have Wildwood Catholic and AC, that rematch coming up on February the 15th. That's a Monday night. We'll get to see AC in action a couple more times this year. Saw Gannon Brady score his 1,000th point the other night for Ocean City. Some pretty good players in the league. I don't know if there's like that top-level premier team this particular season, but we got some good players to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no doubt. We were talking about it with Mike McGarry from the Press for Atlantic City before the game started. Gannon Brady is a kid who could play college basketball somewhere, but of course he's going to be a baseball player at Fordham, but nice moment for him the other night.
Mitchell cuts the lane. Mitchell shot puts up, no good. Rebound taken by Mack, and it's stripped away from the backside. And the layup is blocked away by Mack. Rebound put up and can't get it to fall. Boy, Pleasantville has just not been able to get anything. I mean, they've been taking shots, Mike, within 4 or 5 feet from the basket. They just can't get them to fall.
Mack so frustrated by losing that basketball. He takes his aggression out on the ball with that rejection. Pleasantville fortunate to regain possession and then draw a foul there.
By the way, Prep leads Spirit 14-10 after one. You can watch that on the South Jersey shoot-around on the BFA site. Watch both games. You have this here and that there. Kind of a red zone look. A couple free throws by Whitaker. Gives him 4. 37-13. AC with the lead and the ball. Crossing the timeline. Bounce pass, Blakely, and a little 15-foot jumper is good by Jaden Jones. Mitchell, which thought about a 3 for a second, then kicks it back out for Walker. Now Walker takes the 3. It's off the rim, no good. And the rebound, there's a little scrum underneath and a jump ball. Blakely and Whitaker, and the arrow faces the Vikings.
Deep 3 there from Walker, but it was in rhythm, stepped into it, and, at this point, why not? Give it a shot.
Right now, these are the best looks you're getting.
Exactly. I think it's a look that Butch Warner is just fine with.
AC 39-13, 109 left to play here in this third quarter. And the entry pass is tipped away. It ends up in an AC player's arms, and then Mitchell gets the strip. Mitchell out in transition. Loses the handle. And AC gets it back. Jones with a nice bounce pass, and it's stolen away. And now it's thrown right back and laid in. Jock Hill.
Nice unselfishness there. Chad Lewis could have had 2 more. Instead, he gets into a teammate and gets Pridgeon Hill into the scoring book.
Pridgeon Hill's another big boy. Yeah, when you look at AC, this isn't one of those ACs that has that star player that everybody kind of recognizes. They have a very balanced attack, though.
They do, no doubt about it.
Hill back the other way off a steal, and he is driven hard into the floor by Mitchell. Mitchell says, no easy baskets, even though we're down big here. You got to earn it.
Yeah, that foul a little on the harder side, but still clean, like you talked about. You don't want to give up those layups. And again, we remind you, today's game, thanks to Thomas Dwyer, Premier Orthopedic Associates, for bringing the action to you free of charge. Of course, they have multiple locations throughout South Jersey. Give them a call, 856-690-1616. That's Premier Orthopedic Associates.
Pridgeon Hill, first free throw off the front of the iron, no good. Jeff Villegas, a sophomore, getting his first burn of the day.
Got any of those hand warmers?
I mean, I gave you a hand thing to wipe your hands down. What else do you think I have in this bag?
Come on, Mom.
Whatever I got that at the Super Bowl last year, so that thing is held up for a year.
How about that?
3 ball at the buzzer by Barnes. It's front rim, no good. And that's how we end this third quarter with the score: Atlantic City 42 and Pleasantville 13. It was a good quarter, though, for Pleasantville when you look at it. They scored 0 in the second quarter. They were able to get on the board and get 13 there. And, of course, a runaway, though, by Atlantic City as they have kind of put this away. And, again, we stressed their defense has been the story.
Yeah, no doubt. A bright spot for Pleasantville in that quarter, certainly Ivan Mitchell. And you're looking for a leader to step up among this young group. And I think certainly in that quarter it was Mitchell setting the tempo, not only offensively but defensively, not allowing easy baskets for Atlantic City. But, yeah, this game at this point well in hand for the Vikings. And, as we almost expected, you don't want to count out Pleasantville before this game, but certainly without the services of Noel Gonzalez, it was going to be an uphill climb today. And right now it's a learning experience, for both teams. Obviously the game is in hand for Atlantic City. Might be an opportunity for Gene Allen to get some guys deeper in the rotation and get them some minutes. And listen, every moment of every game is a learning experience right now for a young Pleasantville team, and a chance to put 8 more minutes together out here and try to get something positive going into their next game.
Pleasantville, of course, 0-1 on the season. They lost to ACIT the other night, and they're without Noel Gonzalez today. We do see him in the building. I'm not sure if he's injured or being disciplined or whatever, but he is not playing today. But he had 25 for the Greyhounds. Big loss for them. I mean, you enter this game against Atlantic City, a veteran team, and you're losing a senior who has 25 for you. You knew it was going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, and there's time. I mean, you don't want to take that time for granted this year, obviously. We hope each of these teams can get the 15 games, and you just don't know, but you want to be optimistic, so you think there's time for Pleasantville, to grow this season. And look, I mean, quite frankly, maybe it's the perfect year, and you don't want to call it rebuilding necessarily, but it might be the perfect year for some of these programs like a Pleasantville that has a younger team. There's not really that Cal playoff situation. There's not that state playoff situation. Just get better. Just go out there and get better every game. Atlantic City wants to do the same, except, this is an Atlantic City team that, quite frankly, would love to go 15-0 and make a statement this year.
Start of the fourth quarter. Pleasantville with the ball. They trail 42-13. It was a 24-4 run for AC, a 11-0 run, I should say, in that second quarter that really stretched this thing out. 18-9, they took that third quarter. It's 42-13 is where we sit. And Blakely hits.
Deep 2 there, I think toe on the line, but a nice, stepped right into that shot there.
8 for Blakely. it would be interesting to see AC over a long season, and his teams typically get better and better as that season goes on. We've only played one game, and we're into February pretty much. They would be kind of getting into form right about now, typically.
Yeah, and that was the situation, a miss here from Pleasantville. That was the situation last year. Atlantic City, Mike, you remember, they weren't really a team that, a lot of people were talking about to be a Group 4 contender last year, and they just got better as the year went on. They got hot at the right time. They, beat Cherry Hill East handedly in that South Jersey final last year. And, of course, then COVID-19 shuts the season down. But that was a team that was really literally getting better, with each passing day of last season.
Yeah, you're right. That game, as Pleasantville turns it over, that game in Atlantic City against Cherry Hill, they absolutely just dominated that thing. And that was a pretty good Cherry Hill team that came in that night, scrappy. And Atlantic City, it seemed like they were really kind of getting Byard. He had like 41 game, and then it was like they really were running a lot through him in that second half of the year.
Yeah, I think, what could have been last year, not only for Atlantic City, but so many Cape Atlantic League teams. Wildwood Catholic, of course, was trying to, it was one game away from the state championship, and then the season ended. St. Augustine, if you remember, Mike, went on that great run last year. They got blown out against Catholic in the Cal final. Then they go on to win the South Jersey non-public A title. Their season ends early. So, just unfortunate for Cape Atlantic League basketball fans that, obviously you're never rooting for a global pandemic to happen any year, but for it to happen in a year where there's so many good teams that had a chance at state championships, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, you talk about that Wildwood Catholic. They had kind of had that team together for a couple of years. They were really looking at that moment. Like, this was that, and it was unfortunate what ended up happening there. And then you see a lot of those guys going on. Taj Sweet's down at West Virginia now, getting a little bit of playing time here and there for Bob Huggins' team. That's a top 15 team. Obviously, I watch them all the time. And what a great team they had put together. And they were together for a couple of years there,
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jalil White's had some injury trouble at Temple, but, you expect a bright future with him and the Owls. And, Jacob Hopping on that team that's, now playing at TCNJ. I believe TCNJ is one of the teams that opted in, so they'll get a chance to play at least a few games this season in the NJAC. Yeah, but you're right. It was a great run for that team. And Atlantic City was a team that wasn't, as we talked about, wasn't heralded coming into last year. And certainly, when matched up against Wildwood Catholic and, some other teams in the Cal last year maybe didn't fare as well. But as we spoke about, just got hot down the stretch. You can't just roll the ball out there and win the South Jersey Group 4 title. You have to go through 4 very difficult games. If you remember, I think we're going back to 11-12 when AC won those back-to-back state championships. The first playoff game of that first back-to-back state championship, Absegami took them to overtime.
That's right. Yep.
There's no easy game. So when you win championships in Group 4, you earn it, and Atlantic City earned it last year.
They've earned this one today with great defense. They're up 49-13. It's been all Vikings. A lot of newcomers into the lineup here. We'll get you those in just a minute. As Colmone is fouled. Yeah, you talk about what Wildwood Catholic did. They did over 3 years. Well, Atlantic City every year has to try to do that. So now you're Wildwood Catholic. You did it for a 3-year stretch. It shows you how impressive this program is, that no matter who's here, no matter what happens, they are constantly in play. Wildwood Catholic, what they did for a 3-year stretch, they were the best team in the area. But here we are in the 4th year. Can you continue to keep doing that in the 5 year, 6 year, 7 year? That's what this Atlantic City program has built, where they are constantly mentioned for a Group 4 title, no matter who's on the roster, who's wearing that jersey. That's what makes this program what it is.
Yeah, and let's not dance around it. Gene Allen and Atlantic City is a program that's going to lose a handful of kids this year included to some of the non-public schools in South Jersey. It's just the nature of the beast. There's a really good Atlantic City freshman that is not playing at Atlantic City this year. But even with all of that, he gets the most out of the kids that want to stay and want to play for him. And I'm not knocking the kids to go elsewhere. Everyone has to make the best decision for themselves, but just trying to harp on the fact that, this was a program that sort of reloads and the guys buy in. It's, nice opportunity there from Dylan Culmore getting 2 on the inside. But, you know what you're getting if you come to play for Gene Allen. And he actually joked with me a little bit before the season started. He said, I might be a little lighter on these guys this year. You might not hear me yell so much. So then I turned around and I said, this to his players, this is what Coach said. Do you believe that? And unequivocally, I got no. And you know what else I got? I got we don't want Coach to be that way. We want him to get honest. That's how we play the best. So it's a two-way street there.
Yeah, I said I was watching him in Wildwood Catholic the other night in the video, and I said the only thing I heard was you.
Yeah, these empty gyms, for a loud coach, you're going to get a lot of Gene Allen sound up full, if you will.
Pleasantville one-on-one to the hoop, and he's fouled from the backside by Christopher Mathau.
They're going to say he lost that one out of bounds.
Wow. Well, it's just nice to be kind of back in the action again. We haven't done a game all season. This is the first time I've been in the gym. I'm sure you've been bouncing around gyms and stuff, and even that's difficult.
It is, yeah. It's a lot of credit to the ADs that have been accommodating to the media so far, and it's been most of them. And I know it's sort of a gray area right now, who's allowed to be in the gym and who's not. But video streams like this, and even print reporters. We talked about. We see Mike McGarry here from the Press of Atlantic City, and everyone's just trying to do that job right now, which is bridging the gap between the game action and the parents and the fans at home.
Yeah, we hope at some point maybe we're getting closer to letting at least the parents in the gym. But if not, we got the video here. Thanks to our friends at Premier Orthopedic Associates. All season long, we'll get as many games as we can to you. Coast-to-coast layup there by Barnes.
And look, the video's not going anywhere. When we go back to normal times, stuff like that, this is fantastic, But just now more than ever, it's necessary, obviously.
Yeah, and, basketball is something that you and I have done together for a while, and it's great to have the BFA guys providing the video for this as well. And this South Jersey shoot-around that they're doing now, they have the capability of taking you into multiple gyms. And, once baseball season gets around, what an area for baseball. I mean, you talk about baseball in this area is just off the charts right now, and it's such a cool thing to see. Guys getting drafted here, guys going to play major Division I baseball, and we're going to be bringing you baseball games and tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So the element of the video has just changed coverage in South Jersey.
At 1:40 in the fourth quarter, we've gotten into baseball filler talk. That's
Come
where
on,
we are
man.
today. No, you're right, though. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year, and I'm so happy for the baseball players and the softball kids, the girls there, and track and field. I mean, Mike, none of that happened last year, An entire season of spring sports off of the board. So I'm just so excited for all those kids to get an opportunity this year. Hopefully, if things continue to trend in the right direction.
I'll tell you,
you don't want to say it's locked in, but it certainly looks promising.
Well, and all the schools have done a really good job getting these things. But I will say, and I want to get your opinion on this because you covered football all year, the way they did football, I think they can incorporate, giving better matchups. Don't set a schedule. You found out that you can just say, you know what, we're going to play you on Saturday. These two teams aren't very good. These two teams are good. Let's play you guys instead of you playing this team that you're going to beat by 30, 40 points.
Yeah, I think the difference for baseball, I'd have to double check, but I think the NJSIAA is hoping to at least
I'm talking about for football. In the future.
Right, yeah, no, I'm with that. It's going to
got a running clock, by the way?
We do, yeah. I'm not mad at it at this point. It's a situation where, you'd love to see those teams. Camden basketball just, for example, lost a bunch of games. They just added games against Rutgers Prep, Trenton Catholic. So that's what you're talking about, right? Some of these premier programs, no matter the sport, stepping up. You'd love to continue to see that happen. Obviously, I think we all want to get back to a spot where regular scheduling can happen, but maybe we're not there yet. So as long as teams continue to find those matchups, I think it's a win all the way around.
Well, what I think it has shown is you can improvise
on
the fly and do some things in the future where, hey, if Holy Spirit's 8-0 and they have Middle Township on their schedule who's struggling, don't make them play. Switch it up and get a better matchup maybe later on, or only schedule up to 6 games and then kind of configure it. But, by the way, final score here as Atlantic City wins it over Pleasantville, and kind of a runaway for Atlantic City, Mike, as we kind of thought in the second half. We saw it was, again, AC's defense. Yeah,
53-16 the final, which, you talk about games maybe not being as lopsided as the score indicates, but that was a game that was. Leading scores, we'll break them down for you a little bit. Amir Mack, Jaheim Frederick, Nassan Blakely, all with 10 points for Atlantic City. Jaden Jones had 6. Chad Lewis with 6. Naquan Blakely with 4. Colmore had 2. Pridgeon Hill off of the bench. Jock Pridgeon Hill with 5. And then for Pleasantville, just tough sledding all day long, as we've talked about. Ivan Mitchell had a nice third quarter there. He led with 6 points. Dontre Whitaker with 4, Villegas with 3, Mikey Villegas, Marky Barnes with 2, and Matt Dow with 1. But yeah, just, overmatched, quite simply. If you're Pleasantville today, there's going to be better days for this group. And Atlantic City, handling business as we expected the Vikings to.
They do, and they do it with the defense, Mike. And, of course, we'll see AC a couple more times this year. Pleasantville kind of rebuilding, as we know. We're going to try to get Gene over here. I know you got to get rolling as the Prep and Holy Spirit game. That game is early on. You can check that out on the BFA Facebook page. We'll have plenty more for you here. And, of course, Mike Frankel and Mike Gill, we will bring you some more action here. And we want to one more time thank Premier Orthopedic Associates for bringing us into your living room for all season here. They jumped on board for the whole season and are giving you the opportunity to watch all these great. It's kind of like we're picking like showcase games each night. The good ones that we can find, the best matchups that we can find.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, thanks to Thomas Dwyer, thanks to Premier Orthopedic Associates. Again, give them a call. 856-690-1616, multiple locations throughout South Jersey. We can't do this without, great sponsors like that. And, just an opportunity, again, for the community to come together and, just find a way to bring these games to the people at home.
All right. Mike, we'll let you roll on out because he's got to go cover another game. And we will finish some things off here as one more time, Atlantic City, the winner over at Pleasantville today. And, of course, Gene's team goes to 2-0. Pleasantville falls to 0-2. We'll have Gene Allen on here with us in just a second. I'm really interested to see what he thought about his defense today because we were very impressed with his defense. And, of course,
I'm going to pass off the headset, Mike. It's been fun. I'm going to pass it over to Gene and let him slide in.
Absolutely. We'll talk to Gene now. And, of course, head coach Gene Allen is with us here. I would imagine, I know it's cold in here, so I want to get you out quick. I would imagine, Coach, that you had to be happy with your defense today. If anything, I know you're yelling and screaming sometimes, but your defense was stifling.
It was okay. It was just okay.
Just okay. Well, if you watched the game and saw the score and saw what you guys did, why was it just okay? What were you not happy with there?
No, I used the, I think it was number 5. He kept penetrating. He kept getting into the lane, and we should never allow that.
Yeah.
Couple other things. I thought we offensively, we're so far behind. We turned the ball over.
I did mention that.
You know me.
Well, I mentioned that, this is February. This is when your team is typically hitting stride.
Right.
You're only playing your second game now.
Right.
And, I thought early, though, you had, there were some nice passes, a couple tic-tac-toes. You look like a nice hockey team hitting tape to tape.
No, I agree with you there. I thought they're very unselfish as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
But like you said, being realistic, I'm very happy with where we're at right now.
And you don't have, that guy, it seems like, and it seems that your guys, you just said it, they're unselfish. They understand. I'm not the guy. You're not the guy. We're the guys.
Right. And we try to preach that. Collective action, and we'll have some success. If everybody's willing to share and no one cares who's in the box score. As long as we win.
Difficult year, obviously, but you're getting to play basketball. What's kind of your message to your team when you know that it's kind of difficult to not have that carrot at the end? So what is the message to keep them focused?
Playing time. The whole thing is, like you said, it's something to do. I'm happy that they're getting an opportunity to play. And, not to sit. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're going to sit. And they want to play, so. That's it.
Atlantic City wins. Impressive. I know everybody over at Boca and Margate's been watching. They were texting in, people putting it up. Premier Orthopedic Associates presenting this game. Dr. Dwyer, we thank them. Head coach Gene Allen, the win for the Vikings over Pleasantville. And you're back at it this week. Got some good games. Beat Wildwood Catholic the other night.
Yeah, we're back at you. We're back at your stopping grounds on Monday at Mainland. And I just want to thank you for all you do for us in South Jersey. I really appreciate it, Mike.
Well, I thank you, Coach, for coming over. I know everybody's waiting for you, so get on out of here.
Plus, you all swell, looking good, baby. You look good.
I got the recipe for you.
All right, I need it.
All right, that'll do it for us here at BFA Productions 97.3 ESPN on the on the website, and of course, we want to thank Thomas Dwyer, doctor from Premier Orthopedics. Once again, Atlantic City beats Pleasantville. We'll talk to you next time here.